Hello and welcome to another episode of Start That Business. Now, this past Sunday was Father's Day in the United States, and I just wanted to give a special shout out to all the men that listen to this podcast. Also, a special shout out to my husband. He has been making this summer an amazing time for me and the kids. We wake up to the smell of breakfast, and he's made breakfast for us several times this summer break. Y'all, I'm having so much fun this summer. All right. One of my mission for starting my coaching business is to help you build a sustainable service-based business because I have been burnt out several times. So I know what it means to be burnt out. So sustainability is at the core of what I'm trying to help you build. And one of the ways I've been able to build a sustainable service-based business is by using systems and technology. And that is what we're going to talk about on today's episode. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk about the 5 systems you need to create to launch your service-based business. Now, these systems, I consider them the foundation. You will create many more systems in your business as you grow and scale. But from the onset, you can start by setting up these systems so that you are already working or building your foundation for sustainability so that you can have time to spend with your family, time to spend with yourself, and you are not burnt out. All right, I am excited. I can't wait to dive in. Pop in those earbuds, lace those shoes, and let's dive into today's episode. Are you ready to streamline your focus and get clarity to start your online service-based business? Are you tired of struggling with lack of clarity, self-doubt, and the fear of being a public failure? Do you wish you had a clear plan you could follow to make your calling a reality? Hey friend, you don't have to stay stuck any longer. With a renewed mindset and a clear plan, you can start a business that fulfills your calling and makes a profit. I'm your host, Chichi Ukomado, a Christian business coach, Jesus follower, and a 7-figure service-based entrepreneur. In this podcast, I'll teach you how to streamline your focus, get clarity on your business idea, create your business launch plan, set up your business essentials, and launch your sustainable and profitable business from scratch. You will get tons of encouragement, godly wisdom, and accountability to grow in your faith and new business journey. It's time to partner with God and take your first step to start that business. You know the one I'm talking about? Yes, that one you've been putting off for a long time. In 2003, I took a 1-year sabbatical from my first service-based business. Yes, you heard me right. 1 year, I stepped away from that business. I would wake up in the morning. I didn't have to go to that business. I was out for a whole year. And one of the things that made it possible for me to step away from that business for 1 year was because I had systems, so many systems in place. Yes, systems help you create a sustainable business, a business that you can step away from and actually become a business owner and not just someone who is working a job that they own. Does that make sense? Because a lot of people leave their 9 to 5 to go start a business, but they do not put systems in place to really transition from working in the business to working on the business and becoming business owners for real. So systems helped me do that. I was able to step away for a year and just chillax, start my podcast, be here every week to record my episodes, start this second service-based business. And I want to go over some of the core, I call them the foundational systems that you will need to put in place as you launch your service-based business. Before I jump into that, I don't want to assume that you already know what a system is. So I would define what a system is so that you know what I'm talking about. Now, a system is a workflow. A system is a guide. A system is a structured game plan that lays out a series of tasks you follow in a specific order to accomplish a goal or a desired result. So think of a system as a process you follow from beginning to end until you successfully complete a goal or a desired result. Now, the beauty of systems is technology makes it easy to set up systems. So that's where you hear about apps. You hear about this app that does this app that does that. They simply help to automate a system. So a system goes from being manual to being automated. So you hear people say, oh, I want to create some automated system. So a system can be manual. You can write down a system for how you answer the phone at your business. You can write it on paper. You can decide to use an app to automate what you wrote down on paper. So that is what a system is. It's a workflow. Think of a workflow, something that is repeatable, something that you can create and someone else can follow your steps to accomplish a desired goal. That was exactly what I did in my first service-based business. I knew that I wanted to take 2023 off. I wanted to go on a sabbatical. So I spent the years prior creating systems, writing down the steps to accomplish different business processes in my business so that I could train my employees, I could train my managers, my supervisors, so that they can do those activities when I wasn't there. So the 5 systems you need to create to launch a sustainable service-based business or a service-based business is, the first one is the lead capture system. If you have been listening to my podcast, I spent a good chunk of time walking you through how to create a lead magnet, an email list, set up your email provider, all those steps. When you put them all together, what we accomplished was we created a lead capture system. So if you want to go back and listen, I'll say go back and listen to episode 68, episode 69, episode 71, episode 72, and episode 73. So your lead capture system is just the series of steps that you follow to attract a lead to your business. A lead is a potential customer, someone that you think will be interested in the service you are offering. And your lead capture system is made up of your lead magnet. So that is what you use to attract them. Lead magnet is also called your freebie. And this lead magnet can be a PDF. It can be a form they fill out. Your long form content can also be your lead magnet. Like this podcast, podcasting is my major form of capturing leads because you're listening to me, you're paying attention, you are locked in. So your lead magnet is the beginning of that lead capture system. Then you have your email list you created, you have your email service provider in there, and you also have the emails that you write that would deliver the lead magnet that you promised. So when you put all of this together, it forms your lead capture system. And the app that you can use to manage this system is what we call the email service provider apps. So things like Flowdex, ConvertKit, MailChimp, MailerLite, GetResponse. These are lead capture applications you can use to manage your entire lead capture system that I just talked about. And when we talk about lead capture, I also want to bring to your attention that there are 3 types of leads you will come across as you do business. The first one is a cold lead. The second one is a warm lead. and the third is a hot lead. So a cold lead is someone that has never heard about the service you offer. They have never met you, they have never encountered you. Maybe you put out a graphic on Instagram and you boost it, and Instagram shows it to a whole bunch of strangers who have never heard of you before. So those are cold leads. Now, a warm lead is a lead that has heard about you and they're enjoying some kind of content or some kind of benefit from you already. So these are people that read your blog. These are people that listen to your YouTube videos. These are people that listen to your podcast episodes every week. So if you're listening to me, you are a warm lead, meaning you're already benefiting from interacting with me every week by listening to this podcast episode. You are learning from me, you're growing, and hopefully you have started doing something about that business you have been called to start. So these are warm leads. Then hot leads are leads that have purchased something from you already. So they have purchased either a service you offer and they enjoyed it and they're ready to buy more from you. So these are the three different types of leads you should be aware of. Now, when you put all this together, it forms your lead capture system. So what steps are you putting in place to capture a cold lead, a warm lead, a hot lead? And each of the leads can move. So a cold lead can become a warm lead, can become a hot lead. Before you heard about this podcast, you were probably a cold lead. Maybe you did a search and you found this podcast and you listened and you went from being a cold lead to a warm lead. And now you're looking to purchase my coaching package so you can become a hot lead. So wherever you are in the spectrum, think about that for your service-based business. How are you going to capture leads? What are the steps you're putting in place? What lead magnet are you creating? What email list? What email provider are you going to use? What email are you going to send out? And put all this together. Select email list provider that can help you manage your lead capture system. And once you set up your lead capture system, don't just set it and forget it. The beauty of systems is you review them and you improve them. The more people experience your service, the more you should review and improve your system. I do that for my first service-based business. I'm constantly reviewing and improving my system. So make sure you don't just set it and forget it, because the needs of your customers will change as your business grows. So the next system you need to create to launch your service-based business is what I call the email marketing system. So this is a bit similar to the lead capture system, but for your email marketing system, you are focusing more on your strategy. What strategy are you putting in place to nurture the lead that you captured in your lead capture system? So your lead capture system, just like the word says, is to help you capture a lead, capture a potential customer. Now, your email marketing system is what helps you to nurture that relationship and grow it into something meaningful, something tangible, something beyond a transaction. So that is where the email marketing system comes into place. Now, for your email marketing system, you want to have a strategy. What is your goal in nurturing this relationship? Do you want to build brand awareness? Do you want to build brand authority? Do you want to grow your brand revenue? So decide what your strategy is, decide what this email marketing strategy is, then put your email marketing system together. Your email marketing system will contain email nurture campaigns, will contain email sales campaigns, and you can set this all up in your email service provider, which I mentioned earlier, which is Flowdex, ConvertKit, MailChimp, MailerLite, GetResponse. There are tons of them out there. So make sure you write the steps that you would take. So after a lead has come into your business, What systems are you putting in place through email to nurture that relationship? Are you going to send out an email every Monday, Wednesday, Friday? What is that email going to have? So, will the Monday email be to just tell them what is going on in your business, maybe the back end, and Wednesday is to teach them something, and Fridays to sell them something? So, make sure you document your email marketing systems so that you know exactly what you're doing to nurture the potential customers you captured in your lead capture system. The third system you need to create to launch a service-based business is what I call the payment processing system. Once you set up your services and you have your price list, you have a description of what the different services you're going to offer, you have all that ready, you need to put together what I call your payment processing system. Now, your payment processing system is made up of different things. Now, when you have your services that you created, you're going to offer, you can display them on your website. You can have a link to them on social media. You can create a landing page of your services where your potential customer can click to place an order for your service. So once you do that, the next thing you need to include in your payment processing system is an online cart. An online cart can be things like Sam Cart, Thrive Cart, Spiffy, what's the other one? There are a whole bunch of them out there. But setting up your online cart and having the link connected to your website or social media or your landing page, that will be the first point of interaction with your service and the pricing for your service by your potential customers. So your online cart is the first thing you will need in the payment processing system. Now, after you set that up, you need to set up your payment processor. Now, most online carts are integrated with the payment processors. So the payment processors are Stripe, PayPal. So you will need to create an account with Stripe, create an account with PayPal, and map out how your sales will flow. So are they going to flow from your website by your potential customer clicking on the link, then going to your online cart, then your online cart processes the payment through a payment processor, maybe Stripe, if you've set it up, or PayPal. Then once that money is collected by your payment processor, is now deposited into your bank. So you see the workflow for the payment processing system. So it will start from somewhere where your customer will interact with your online card. Then your payment processor comes into play. Then finally, the money is deposited into your bank account. So it's very important that you set up this system. What I've done in the past, I actually draw out this flow on a piece of paper. So visually, I can see how the money is flowing from my website all the way to my bank. And this flow is also helpful when you get a bookkeeper. They will need to know how does your revenue flow into your bank account so that they can keep your books up to date and they can process your books the right way. So it's very helpful to draw this out. Draw out your payment processing system, then start setting each of the elements in the system up so that you have the right system in place to be able to collect payment or exchange value for the payment of your customers. The fourth system you need to create to launch a service-based business is a project management system. Yes. What is a project? You might be hearing this for the first time. A project is simply a goal you want to accomplish that has a start date and an end date. So it becomes a project when it has a start date and it has an end date. If it doesn't have that, then it's just wishful thinking. So in your business, you will have projects that you want to work on. In one of my episodes, I spoke about the 3 ways or the 3 paths you can follow to start a business. So let's take an example. Maybe you decide to start your business using the audience first path. That means you don't create any services yet. You just create your long form content and you launch it and you post content every week. So let's say you started your business like that and you now decide that, okay, I'm ready to create services and move on to launching my service, setting up my systems. All those things now become a project that you need to manage. You need to set up your lead capture system. That's a project. You need to set up your email marketing system. That's a project. You need to set up your payment processing system. That's another project. How do you manage all these projects so that you don't get overwhelmed? You might need to create a website. That's a project you need to manage. So you might need to run campaigns or ads to grow your business visibility and revenue. These are all different projects you need to manage in your business. And using a project management system is very important. Now, there are different project management system apps out there that help you manage the flow of the different projects you need to handle. Some of them include Monday.com, Notion, Asana, Meister Task, ClickUp. These are different options that I have explored at some point in my business. Right now, I currently use Notion. For my first service-based business, I used to use Asana. Then I moved to Notion. I've used ClickUp in the past, but I have stayed with Notion for the longest time. So you can explore any of these project management system applications I just mentioned. They help you manage your projects, starting from the big main goal that needs to be accomplished, then breaking them down to smaller tasks, managing those tasks, assigning them to team members. The beauty of this project management system application is that a lot of them also include team communication built within them. So if you get to the point where you hire a team, you can collaborate with your team on this project management system. Another one I have used is Basecamp. Basecamp is pretty cool. So a lot of them have team communication built in. So you can chat with your team members, you can assign tasks to them, you can delegate things to them. That's the beauty of having a project management system. It helps you manage the projects in your business with your team. The fifth system you need to create to launch a service-based business is what I call a client management system. Now, this one is very, very, very important because when you launch your business, you promise your customer you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to deliver different things as part of the service they are buying. Now, it's very important for you to sit down and write out the flow of how you are going to deliver an excellent customer experience or client experience to the people that are purchasing your service. So after they make a payment, do they receive an email from you? Do they get more details about what they just purchased? How does that flow? So taking time to create your client management system is very important. And you can use what I call, or what is called in the industry, a customer relationship management application to manage your client management system. I know it sounds like so many big words, but don't get overwhelmed. So you often hear the word CRM. CRM simply means customer relationship management. So it's just the technology or the application you use to manage your client experience. And you can use it. Most of these CRMs, you're able to manage your client projects, you're able to manage leads, you're able to manage scheduling of appointments, you're able to manage payments, you're able to manage proposals, invoices. There's so many things you can do on this customer relationship management system, but it helps you to manage your client experience so that from the point they interact with you, from the point they pay for your service up until the service is delivered, they have a smooth and memorable experience. Some examples of CRMs I have used in my first service-based business and this one are practice.do, paperbell.com, Honeybook. I haven't used Honeybook yet, but it's a pretty popular one that is out there. Honeybook. Dupsado is another one that is pretty popular. Willowspace.co is another one that is pretty popular. Now, just taking time to go over these different applications and seeing what features they have that is specific to the service-based business you're starting. Some of them are tailored towards those that are starting coaching businesses. Some of them are tailored to creatives. Some of them are tailored to people that build websites. So take time to go through and find the one that works for you so that you are organized, you are coordinated, and you can build a sustainable service-based business because you have the right systems in place. All right, let's recap real quick. 5 systems you need to create to launch your service-based business. The first one is your lead capture system. The second one is your email marketing system. The third one is your payment processing system. The fourth one is your project management system. And the fifth one is your client management system. In Genesis chapter 1, as I referenced, when God created the heavens and the earth, he put systems in place. And after he did, he sat down on the 7th day to rest. So he's no longer creating anything. Instead, he's creating through us. But those systems that God created at the beginning, we're still enjoying them today. The sun still rises from the east and sets in the west. That's a system God put in place that we're still enjoying today. So my prayer for you is that as you take time to create these systems, you will enjoy the same rest that God is enjoying, and you will launch a sustainable service-based business that is able to serve you way into the future, so you too can get to a point where you can take a 1-year sabbatical, yes, from that service-based business. I pray all this in Jesus' name, amen. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, I would really love it if you could leave me a review on Apple Podcast or the podcast app you're using to listen. This is the number one way I know you're getting value from the content on this podcast. Now, if you are struggling to find clarity to start your business, I would like to recommend Clarify Your Calling course. It's a course that I took when I was trying to start my coaching business. It helped clear the fog and helped me focus my mind on one idea to get started with. Now, if you're already clear on the service-based business you want to start and you're looking to create a long-form content to help you launch your service-based business, I recommend podcasting. And I also want to recommend Podcast University. That was the course that I took and went through to start this podcast that you're listening to. Now, both Clarify Your Calling and Podcast University, I am an affiliate for both of those courses. So when you purchase, I get a little commission, but it's at no extra cost to you. The links to sign up for these courses will be in the podcast description. Click on it so that you can get the clarity you need to launch your business. You can get the instructions you need to start your podcast, and you can get going. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I hope you learned something new and you were encouraged to take action. If so, will you stop right now and share this episode with someone so they can get the help you just got? I would also love it if you can leave a review for this podcast on Apple Podcast or the podcast app you're using to listen. This is the number one way I know you're getting value from the content on this podcast. Until next time, always remember you have all you need to start that business. So keep listening for more episodes. I'll meet you here next week.